Hey, what's up? It's Chris with Dan Libby Refrigeration, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Talking about electricity and getting electrocuted today. Um, one of my guys, I swear, this dude gets electrocuted more than anybody I've ever met, right? So, not knowing how to test power properly is how you're going to get zapped, right? So, number one, right? Always shut the breaker off or the disconnect, service switch, whatever, right? Shut off the power, right? If you're working on voltage, working on something, you turn the power off if you need to turn the power off, right? That's number one. Number two, just because you turn the switch off or just because you turn the breaker labeled AC or the breaker labeled furnace, it doesn't mean the power's off, right? So unless you just wired it and you know for sure that that switch is for that piece of equipment or that breaker is for that piece of equipment, you always test, right? So you need to turn the power off, go to the service switch or go to the breaker, shut the breaker off, then go back to the piece of equipment and test for power, right? Because just because you turn the switch off, somebody could have wired it wrong. Somebody could have mislabeled the breaker, right? So you're always going to test power, okay? So turn the breaker off, turn the service switch off, whatever the case is, right? And then you're going to test power. Number one, you should have a good meter, right? I think I've said it before. The only tool in your tool bag that can kill you, right, is your multimeter, your meter, right? Your gauges aren't going to kill you, right? Your adjustable wrench could be a piece of crap, but it isn't going to kill you. But a crappy meter, that could kill you, right? So hopefully you have a good meter, right? And the first thing you're going to do is test voltage. So if it's 115, L1 to neutral, see if you have power, right? You're then going to go L1 to ground and see if you have power. Same thing with neutral. Go neutral to ground, right? So if there's two wires, go from each one across each other, L1 to neutral, or L1 to L2 and test, and then L1 to ground, L2 to ground, right? If it's three phase, L1, L2, L1, L3, L2, L3, right? And then each leg of power to ground, right? If you do that every time, right? Testing your voltage, line voltage, L1 to neutral, L1, L2, test those two, and then from each one to ground, if you do that every time, you won't get electrocuted, right? But you don't know how many times that I've seen somebody go L1 to L2 and it reads 0. Reason it's reading 0 is you could be missing a leg of power, right? And they don't go from L1 to ground or L2 to ground. They think the power's off and they get lit up with 220, 230, whatever it is, right? So there you go. My tip of the day to not get electrocuted, right? Learn how to use your meter and don't take nobody's word for it or anybody's writing on the breaker panel, right? Always test. All right, see you on the next one.